I thought back to talking to you during the NIT because you guys really enjoyed playing a lot of games and not practicing as much. So, are you guys kind of in some ways enjoying this really weird, unique schedule where it's, you just came off a ton of games. Now you're going to go on the road again. And it sounds like you're going to be on the road for a long time, depending on the Big 12 tournament, the NCAA tournament. Is it fun doing that? And do you guys think that you gained so much from these games recently that you probably wouldn't have gotten from just a bunch of practice?
Yeah. With when it comes to playing games, that's how ultimately like teams get better. Just playing, building that chemistry, building a flow, learning from your mistakes in real time, and then just like we all dream about playing at the next level, and it's like a somewhat of a taste of what you may get to be a part of one day of just playing. Like this week we played 3 games in 6 days. Not a lot of practice, but more time on the court.
Babalu, go ahead, please.
Matt, would you take me back to coming in with Jericho and what he was like then, on or off the court, or both, or however you want to go about it, but just what was he like as a freshman, and how have you seen him grow?
He was just always in a shell his freshman year, just because of his character, the type of person he is, and just like over time, you've just seen him like grown and become more, come into himself and be comfortable and confident in himself and his guys around him. And I think as he just got older, he just became a lot more confident, and he's a lot more mature, physically, mentally, and he's been able to, exert himself in a way that we all knew he could, so I'm happy to see that.
We've seen him off the floor. I mean, we see him on the floor, and when we talk to him, he seems very shy and not a lot of words. Is he like that off the floor, or has he kind of grown into something different?
He's still like that, but he has grown a lot from just, freshman year to now. He talks a lot more. He's able to, start a conversation, and you get more words out of him. So.
Dennis, go ahead, please, sir.
Matt, because of the way this season has unfolded so differently with COVID, the winter storm, et cetera, do your legs feel any differently this time in March? And does your head, your focus feel any different going in?
I can talk for a lot of people that a lot of people aren't 100% right now, just the way their bodies are feeling. But I think that's where your mental has to be stronger than ever right now, just going into March. You just got to play little mind games with yourself that, that you're feeling 100%. You have enough to bring to the table, night in, night out.
Nick, go ahead, please, sir.
Matt, Kai looks like a guy that honestly, when he's out there, is just really enjoying the game. What's it like playing with him, and what kind of growth have you seen from him just since the moment that he arrived on campus?
Can you say it? Like you were cutting in and out.
Yeah, what's it like playing with Kai out there? Because it looks like he just is always playing with energy. He always looks like he's excited to be out there. And just what kind of growth have you seen from him, from the moment that he stepped on campus to this point?
Man, he's a big kid. He's a big kid. And he's someone that really enjoys the game of basketball. If that's like working on his game, watching highlights, watching film, he truly enjoys the game of basketball. So little things get him going on the court. If that's running the floor, getting the block, hitting a step back three that he loves so much shooting. But like you just seeing him just mature slowly but surely. Still a big kid at heart, but his growth, like we're just coming in the summer, was like, all right, he's gotten a lot better. Like he's ready to play this year.
Roger Wallace, please.
Hey Matt, going to Kansas City, everything is got its own pressures, but big picture wise, there's no you need this to get into the tournament, things like that. Does that take a little off your mind, or do you like having that edge going in, regardless of where you stand in the national picture?
That is like a little deep breath, because ever since I've been here, like my freshman year, we had that. We didn't make it my sophomore year, and then last year, I think we were probably in the same situation. Got to probably win a game, in the Big 12 tournament. So now, I just feel like it's just let your hair down and just hoop and just hoop.
And then quickly on Tech, they're the ones that did get you twice this year. What about them as a tough matchup?
I think the better defensive team wins. Like they are high on getting deflections, keeping the ball on the side, out of the paint. We're big on deflections, just being a gritty defensive team. I just think the better defensive team wins.
Joe Cook, please.
Matt, you're a fourth-year player, started all the games, and this is going to be, like you said, probably your second opportunity at the NCAA tournament. Have you thought about that, like what it could mean looking back for your career, or are you not ready to even think about that and just focus on the games ahead?
I've thought about it a little bit, just first, like how fast time flies. To think like my freshman year I made the tournament, and then my senior year, I'm on my senior already. Sophomore, junior year, felt like they just flew. And then what happened with last year with the COVID, it just everything just shut off. But I'm enjoying the moment, one game at a time, and just want to do what I can to help my team win one day at a time.
And then just as a guy who loves basketball and stuff like that, how good is it just to be able to go to Kansas City and not get pulled off the floor 10 minutes before the game and have an NCAA tournament to talk about and that type of thing?
Knock on wood, but it's something like that's why you come to college, to play in March, and like for us knowing that we're not going to get that taken away from us this year is even more exciting.
Kirk Bowles, go ahead, please.
Matt, when you guys were 10-1 and just rolling through it all, do you feel like you are back to that, hitting that same stride and peaking now?
We're getting there. We're getting there. I think this past week has, we were allowed to grow, 3 games in 6 days, all on the road, which was fun. It was tiring, but I was happy to come out with 3 wins. And, I think going into yesterday's game, there was a lot of joy. There was a lot of, happiness just going into the game, a lot of confidence. And I felt, I felt that in everybody. And we just have to continue that spirit,
Mm-hmm. And Matt, the school's coming out with the report on the Eyes of Texas tomorrow. And I wonder if you and your teammates talk about that and what's your opinion on keeping the song or not?
We talk about it rarely, probably not as much as probably other teams do here at the University of Texas. We have a group of guys that really just we're trying to focus on the basketball right now, but we understand that the discrepancies and all the commotion that's going on, and I haven't really thought about it. If the song is racist, then it shouldn't be played. Simple as that. So.
Last one to Dustin McComas, please.
Matt, you mentioned this last night too, and just mentioned again, like getting back to that 100%. What is it that you guys need to do, or what is it that one area you think is going to get you guys to reach that point that you're going to be like, okay, we're playing our best basketball at the right time?
It just comes down to like everybody just connected around like just winning and connected, intertwined with the guy next to them. It was like it's a sense of joy and unselfishness that's how I see it. You just having fun. You're happy to be playing the game of basketball, and then you're happy for the guy next to you, making an extra play, cheering him on, and it's just a sense of just joy and unselfishness.
Courtney, I asked Shaka about the Greg Brown dunk that wasn't, and he said he was going to pull him until you said, no, leave him in. Can you kind of go through that thought process as a player?
I just feel like in the time, I think if he would have pulled him, Greg probably would have got down on himself. So I wanted him to like learn from that mistake. You know what I'm saying? Play through it. We're gonna need him to make a deep run. So I feel like the best thing, in my opinion, was to like coach just let him play through it. Like he know what he did. You know he's supposed to make the dunk, but just let him try to play through it. Let him learn from that mistake.
And do you feel like, I mean, the Big 12 is just so solid. We all know that, maybe the best league in the country. Do you almost feel like this prepares you guys so much for this tournament and the NCAA tournament because you're playing that quality of kind of opponent almost on a nightly basis?
Yeah, each night you playing a top 25 team, so that prepares you every night just to battle hard. Even the teams that aren't making the tournament are good teams, you know what I'm saying? So that prepares us a lot too. Then I feel like we played the right schedule this year to prepare us for when we need to play the big games.
Dustin, go ahead, please, sir.
Courtney, looking back to this time last year, how upset were you when you guys were pulled off the floor at the Big 12 tournament? And then conversely, now that you guys are entering this thing with, not have to worrying about being on the bubble or anything like that, what's your mindset as you get to attack this postseason, knowing you get another chance at the postseason and that you guys have some big goals ahead of you?
At the beginning of the season, we had goals. We had goals to win the Moyle Invitation, win the regular season Big 12, win the conference tournament, and then win the NCAA tournament. We achieved one of those goals. Unfortunately, we didn't achieve the second one. So this is our third chance to achieve one of our goals to win the Big 12 tournament. So we want to attack that each and every game. Then we're playing a team that beat us twice. So we want to attack them and keep playing as many games to create rhythm for when the NCAA tournament starts.
And looking back to this time last year, what was your reaction when you guys are getting pulled off the floor? And thinking back to that, do you kind of like, what do you think of now? Just saying, man, here we are again, and things are in a much better situation.
During that time, I was pretty mad because I wanted to play. You know what I'm saying? I had family there, so I wanted to perform for them. But the grand scheme of things, I understood why they pulled us off the court. Then we have like a teammate of our own who can be at risk, so I had to think about him as well. So overall, I thought about it. And for this year, it's just crazy, like, to have the chance to be in the NCAA tournament and experience that.
Nick Moyle, go ahead, please, sir.
Yeah, Courtney, I asked Matt about this. Curious, what is it like, playing with a guy like Kai, who just seems to play with so much energy and so much genuine joy for the game? And, how have you seen him grow, over the past couple of years together?
Playing with somebody like that brings you energy because he's going to react to everything, a dunk, a block, like Matt said. So this makes you raise your level up. And then you can just see that he's maturing each and every day. He's asking more questions. You can just tell he's starting to figure things out on his own. And then I feel like he's becoming the person that he wants to be overall.
Dennis, go ahead, please, sir.
Just your combination of seasoned guards, athletic bigs, and you guys are starting to really get connected. You've been through a lot of wars together in this crazy year. Do you just feel with all that happening, is your sky the limit when you head into, whether it's the Big 12 tournament, the NCAAs, that your ceiling is way up high?
I feel like we're going to be a dangerous team to play against. Our opponents in the Big 12 kind of have like a sense of how we play because they played us once or twice throughout the year. I think it's going to be difficult to prepare for us when we haven't seen us play before. I think it's hard to prepare for us in practice with our guards, with our length, and how we play. So I think that's going to help us in the long run. I just think the main thing now is just building that rhythm. So when that time comes, we can just push forward.
Yeah, and do you laugh at the notion, or what do you think of the notion that, okay, players are just looking at the NCAA, sometimes these conference tournaments get in the way, or you kind of alluded to it, you want to put that trophy on the wall, right?
Oh, for sure. It's never been done in Texas. So we want to keep doing things that never has been done at the school. So we want to approach these 3 games as like a new season. We started off 0-0 now. So we want to go 1-0 on Thursday.
Joe Cook, please.
Courtney, as someone who's played in the backcourt with him for the past 3 years, and then I'm sure you watched him when you were still up in Missouri, what do you think that Matt Coleman's, I don't want to say legacy, but impact on this program has been as a guy who's played as many games and has done as much as he has in a Longhorn uniform?
I think he's going to have a great legacy. He's one of the biggest reasons why I came here. I wanted to play with a guy like that, to learn from and just be a part of what he had going. And he accepted me with open arms, so I appreciated that from him. And then just playing with him, just seeing how he's maturing since the 3 years I've been here has been great. He's a great leader, and it's somebody like watch from afar to learn things from. So when things are handed over to me, then I can just take off.
He's only had one opportunity at the NCAA tournament, and it was a tough one, that Nevada game. So have you sensed like any extra drive from him over these past couple of weeks, or has he kind of been, full tilt for the whole season and, taking advantage of every opportunity?
I think I've seen it from everybody, from the coaches, the players, to the strength coach, to the trainers. I think everybody's just feeling like, this is an opportunity. Why not give it all we got? You know what I'm saying? Every team doesn't get this opportunity. And we're one of the fortunate teams to get it, so why not take full advantage of it?
Roger, go ahead, please, sir.
Hey, Courtney, when you guys are playing either with no fans or limited fans, do you ever get the sense during the game that it's maybe different, the style and things like that? Shaka, we asked him, and he said it'd be better to ask you guys, but do you ever sense sometimes it gets maybe more like a practice situation? You have to realize that, you're in the middle of a huge ball game?
Yeah, we talked about it at the TCU game. We was like, it's kind of quiet in here. You know what I'm saying? We got to create our own energy. We got to be excitement. I think it starts with our bench. If our bench is talking to us, that's going to get the 5 on the court going. So sometimes we got to understand, like, we have to create our own energy. And it's hard sometimes, especially if things aren't going well. But the good teams are the great teams who do it, especially now, and start it in the conference tournament, and it just carries over to the NCAA tournament. They're going to have momentum. And that's what the biggest thing right now is, just creating that momentum, so everything is just smooth sail.
Is it strange to hear every word, everything that's yelled out? The TV microphones are there, and if it's quiet, it's such an unusual thing to kind of hear everything that's being said.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I think we focus more on the games. You know what I'm saying? We don't really pay attention to, it's so quiet. We can hear it at times, but I think our main objective is just to win the game.
I asked this to Courtney, and I kind of asked it to Matt, but he's a guy who's been here for 4 years. He's only had one opportunity at the NCAA tournament. Have you sensed like an extra level of drive from Matt? Because if he, who knows what he's going to do next year, but that this could be his last opportunity to go far in March.
One thing I can say about Matt since I've been here is he's been somebody who's had a sense of urgency almost every day. In terms of it being up a notch, you can definitely feel him, having more of a voice in the locker room in terms of just emphasizing that, how big of an opportunity we have in front of us. But he's been somebody who's been talking about March Madness since I first got on campus. So, it is obviously something that's really important to him and the entire team, but it's a sense of urgency from all of us, I feel like.
For someone who started as many games as he has and has been a part of the program as long as he has, how do you think he's going to be remembered? If he decides that this is his last year at Texas, how do you think he's going to be remembered as a point guard throughout this whole era?
I think Matt's legacy off the court is going to stand out to a lot of people because he's such a great guy. And I say that in the most genuine way possible. He's been somebody who's been helpful to me since I first got here. He was my host on my visit. He's just one of the greatest people you ever come in contact with. And then on the court, he's a bad dude. So has a lot of buzzer beater, has a lot of magic moments here at Texas. So I think he's going to be remembered well on and off the court.
Dustin, go ahead, please.
Kai, recently when you guys have had success, you've kind of been in the middle of it, sparking it with just kind of your energy and your rebounding, running the floor. Did you have a moment of clarity or anything recently that's allowed you to be more consistent? It seems like you've really kind of figured out your role in terms of how to impact your team.
Yes, sir. Just from watching a lot of film and talking to Coach, I understand the things that I do very well. It's been something that I've understood since the beginning, but it's just a matter of me doing that consistently, like you said. I feel like I'm starting to find a rhythm, and it feels really good. But as long as we're winning games, I'm happy with that, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
I know a lot of guys talk about who can be the best shooter, the best dunker on the team or whatever, but in terms of just a foot race, is anybody on the team beating you up and down the floor?
I do not think so. We raced a lot here. We've had a lot of suicides and 22s, and coaches said that Jericho's faster than me, but I don't know. We raced a lot. I feel like I'm definitely the fastest.
And you ran track in your background, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Bob Ballou, go ahead, please.
Kai, on Jericho, what's he like off the floor? Because when we talk to him in interviews, he's pretty quiet and he doesn't say a lot. What's his personality like?
Yeah, he's a very quiet guy, but he's actually really funny. Usually when he does say something, it's either really funny or kind of remarkable. I guess that's one of the things that comes with being very quiet. But he's a guy, a few words, but he's really cool. He's a nice guy, nice energy.
And then when you guys start a game, is it a requirement that he touches the ball and tries to dunk on the first possession? Because it feels like every game that's been what's happened lately. And just how has he grown? How has he grown as well in that kind of role?
He's grown a lot. He's become much more assertive since I've met him. And, you know, we make an emphasis of getting the ball inside to him early and often because there aren't many people, I think, in the country that can deal with that force. So it's absolutely one of the things we have at the forefront of our mind.
Kirk, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Kai, I was curious if you guys score y'all's dunks and what the team would say is the best dunk of the year and say who would be the most in the top 5? You, Jericho, Greg, who?
I think in terms of just dunks, Greg's had some pretty dope posters. I've had a couple dope transition dunks, but I'll say all of Greg's posters has to be in there because the one against Baylor was really nice. And then the first game of the season was good. And then I'll say Jericho's on Kurkoth and then that one on Brady Matt. There's been a lot of dunks. There's been a lot of dunks this season. So I don't know if I can put together the top 5 on the spot, but I think I'm going to try to get in that top 5. I need to really go put somebody in the rim, though.
Yeah. And who would you say you model your game after? Is there anybody in the pros that's my guy?
There's a lot of guys I watch. I watch Kevin Durant. I watch Giannis. I watch Anthony Davis. I watch Jared Allen. I watch a lot of guys in the pros, Montrezl Harrell, but mainly Kevin Durant and Giannis just because how versatile they are and how well they move at their size.
Thanks, Kai.
Nick Moyle, go ahead, please, sir.
Setting the bar low there with those two. But, you go out there and you play. Some guys really like to kind of play with anger and aggression. Seems like you play with, joy. And, I'm curious, where that comes from, just your genuine love from the game because you're smiling out there, you're having a good time. It looks like you're really channeling that to make yourself better. So I'm just curious, where that, passion for the game comes from for you.
It's just a genuine love for the game. I've been wanting to do this since, when you get cut from the team so many times and then you finally make the team, it's like, good. And then now you're playing. I feel like I'm just doing exactly what I wanted to do from the jump ever since I was a little kid. Even though I did run track, I always had a passion for basketball. Always would watch LeBron James, and it's just a genuine love for the game. I feel like I'm just doing exactly what I wanted to do and what I meant to do. So that's really what it is for me.
Roger Wallace.
Hey, Kai, does it feel different heading into the tournament, even though everything's unusual, especially the way it was taken away from everybody last year? I mean, do you kind of sense this time of year?
It's definitely kind of exciting. I feel like a buzz around just the team once we were on the bus on the way back here. I just feel really energized, actually. Like last night, I was up pretty late. I couldn't go to sleep. Like I feel pretty ready to go. I'm kind of excited because they took it away from us last year, with COVID. So now we get to really go, and I feel like we have a chance to do something special. So I'm pretty excited, to say the least.
Last one to Joe Cook.
You mentioned your visit and going back to that, I just kind of had a couple questions. Do you remember, was that your first American football game that you were able to attend?
No, sir. The first American football game was in high school. I went to a football game, but in terms of a college football game, no, that wasn't my first college football game either, but it was definitely a different environment that I ever experienced.
I remember that weekend because I remember looking in the student section and I'm like, who brought the Bahamian flag? Did that kind of stand out to you over that weekend?
Nah, it did for sure. Yeah, it was dope to see that.
And then what all did you and Matt, how did he sell you on Texas? You said he was your host.
Yeah, we played pickup and I played with the guys and I just really like the guys here. They seem like genuine dudes, and they all seemed like they worked really hard, similar to me, and they had a love for the game, and everybody was pretty passionate. And just the energy I felt from the teammates, and then I had a pretty good relationship with Shaka as well. And once I saw the campus and just the city of Austin, it's a nice city. So that I was kind of sold once I saw that. I felt like it was a fit for me.